Creating a successful YouTube channel is far from easy. Regardless of what you hear, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and most importantly, you need to know what you're doing. It's not just simply a matter of uploading a video and hoping things work out. Hi, my name is Hussein Ati. I'm a CEO, entrepreneur, educator, and a content creator, and an owner of a successful YouTube channel, which has generated over 300,000 reviews, and it's growing per minute. In this current powerful course, I'm going to teach you some of the tactics and strategies that I use within my business, within my channel, that will help you take your YouTube channel to a different level, in which I'm going to teach you how to combine the power of Canva, the power of ChatGPT to create powerful YouTube thumbnails, which will help your videos stand out. These tactics, these strategies are very rare. Many things I'm going to be sharing with you in this current course are not talked about. It includes a lot of scientific, practical applications that will ensure every single time you create a YouTube thumbnail, it's a successful one, leaving the guesswork out of the equation, which is often the case. We tend to create YouTube thumbnails and we hope that things work out. Well, there's a lot more to it, which will help increase those chances and make things work in your favor the same way it worked in my favor when it comes to my channel and growing my YouTube channel. In this current course, I will take you behind the scenes. Yes, you've heard me right. I'm going to show you the back end of my channel, which is quite rare for many YouTube content creators to do in the first place, to show you how it looks like from the back end. What makes a video successful compared to a poor performing video solely based on the effectiveness of the thumbnail. So what are we waiting for? Let's get it started. The project for the current course revolves around creating a YouTube thumbnail which is clear, catchy, professional, and organized. In order to make sure that you create a powerful YouTube thumbnail, make sure that you go through the lectures in sequence covering the practical examples, taking a look at the back end of my channel where you get to see the impact of a powerful YouTube thumbnail with regards to a not so properly done YouTube thumbnail, such that you get some inspiration to draw from to help you apply the key best practices, which I'm going to be teaching you in this current course, to achieve the core objectives and the project requirements in terms of creating a YouTube thumbnail which is catchy, clear, professional, and organized. Welcome to the first lecture in which we are going to have a basic preview on Canva. If this is the first time that you are actually learning about Canva or dealing with Canva, it's a very powerful tool to help you come up with graphics designs, various designs for various applications, whether for marketing, whether for social media posts. So we are going to have a bit of a walkthrough to have an idea about what is Canva, how to go about the basic application for Canva, at the same time to understand how things look like on the Canva website for the ease of navigation, making sure that we are building a solid foundation in case you have no idea what is Canva and how to use it in the first place. So over here, first of all, we do have the website, which is canva.com. On the left-hand side, you do have your account details. At the same time, you do have your saved projects, any previous templates. If you have saved any brand related items, you're going to be finding them over here, in addition to any installed applications. So the left hand side displays mainly the generic categories or filing of your dashboard. Now, if we take a look at the top side over here, we are able to realize that we have various categories for various elements. If we go to the design spotlight, notice at the first column, we have visual documents, the second column, photos and videos, the second column is printouts, and the third column, marketing. So for the visual documents, this includes documentations, presentations, whiteboards, graphs, and charts. Photos and videos, you get a video editor, YouTube video editor, you get photo editor, photo collages, background remover. Now, some of these options, they're quite free to use, and some of them require to upgrade to Canva, the pro version, the premium version. You do have printouts such as business cards, invitations, t-shirts, hoodies, calendars, and for marketing materials such as posters, flyers, and the list goes on. So you get the idea behind how these items have been classified on Canva, and following which we do have various applications for business, for education, and for the plans and pricing in case you would like to upgrade. But for the current demonstration that we have, the free version is more than enough. So once we have concluded understanding the top navigation items, we are able to better understand how to transition from one part to the other. Now, if we go and scroll downwards, you notice that we have a small menu over here. This menu includes key items that many users have been using, which are quite famous to use. Some of them have been recommended for you based on the way you have been using Canva. Then you have documentations, whiteboards, presentations, social media, videos, and websites. If we click more, it will provide you with some additional useful elements that you might find helpful. For example, infographics, desktop wallpapers, graphs, and these are additional elements that you might find useful based on the use of Canva. If you have been using it for a certain category or a certain application, you'll find these recommendations to pop up for you. Now, for our case, since we are going to be using Canva to craft and design YouTube thumbnails, we can just simply go to the search over here and we are going to type what we are looking for. Keeping in mind, you can just manually navigate, like go to the social media, and then you can see we have a different bar over here, display menu bar. We got popular, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. These are the elements which have been being used quite heavily by other users lately, and you can just keep on navigating till we find the YouTube thumbnail over here. We do have other elements. We do have the YouTube intro. We got animated social media. Take a look at this. We got a YouTube banner. So it has multiple applications, and we will be covering all of these various unique applications in the upcoming courses. But for the current course, like I've mentioned, we are building it one level at a time, and we are learning about a walkthrough generically for Canva, then focusing and narrowing things down to our core application in the current course, which is the YouTube thumbnail design. So once we click over here, we are going to transition to a canvas. So it's by default, it's preset to include the dimensions and the pixels in terms of the length and the width for Canva. And if you notice over here, on the left side, you do have various templates that you could choose from to help you hit the ground running. So let's say, for example, I click this one. By default, I'll be able to start by using this template to help me design my YouTube thumbnail. Keeping in mind, here's a pro tip. Whenever you click on one of these thumbnails, the display on the left side will be refreshed to include more similar thumbnails. Let's take a look at this. Here we go. Take a look at the left side. It has been shuffled again to provide me with something quite similar to what I've been choosing in the first place. So this is a great way for you to keep on trying things that you might find helpful, and keep an eye on the left-hand side till you spot the one that you truly like to help you build upon it from the beginning. Now, on the left-hand side, if you notice over here, we have a column which includes the current design template. These are some elements that we can use in our design, text that could be added, the brand images and fonts, any uploads that you could add from your side, whether an image or a picture or an audio. Would you like to manually draw as well? You could use these options, any prior projects, and any applications. Like I mentioned, Canva is very powerful, and it has a lot of utilizations, which we will be covering in a series of various applications. But for the sake of the current course, we need to focus on the tools which are going to serve us to create a powerful YouTube thumbnails. So at this current stage, you do have a basic understanding of the Canva navigation and how could we utilize it to provide us with the foundational block of the first layer, let's say, the initial block for creating a YouTube thumbnail. Welcome back. Now, in this current lesson, we are going to have a briefing and overview on ChatGPT by OpenAI. Now, most probably you are familiar with ChatGPT, but like we have mentioned, the course is designed to include the beginners from the beginning, support them with the foundational knowledge, provide them with the steps that they need to take in order to have a successful experience within the course. So if you are familiar with ChatGPT, you can just simply browse and freshen up this current using this current lecture before transitioning to the actual applications in terms of creating a YouTube thumbnail using Canva and ChatGPT. But if this is the first time you learn about ChatGPT, ChatGPT is an NLP, artificial intelligence model, which is natural language processing model. You can just simply go to Google and type in ChatGPT, OpenAI to land at the following page. Now, at the top left over here, this is where you click on it to start a chat with ChatGPT. At the bottom, you do have the message window where you type what we call as a prompt. Now, a prompt has multiple approaches, prompt engineering best practices, which require attention by itself. But like I've mentioned, we're keeping it quite basic at this current stage, in which we are going to utilize the basic approach to prompt design, prompt engineering to help us craft powerful YouTube thumbnails. Now, if you are familiar with ChatGPT, most probably you're wondering, how could I use it actually to come up with YouTube thumbnails? We're going to be dealing with this at a later stage, but for you to get an idea, you have the ability to prime ChatGPT to actually act like a professional YouTuber. What does that mean? Let's consider the following prompt. Act as if you are a professional YouTuber planning to create, let's go for the word design, to design a YouTube thumbnail. Let's consider a cooking channel for a cooking channel in which the dish is pizza, for example. Now take a look at this. So I have primed ChatGPT to act as if it's a professional YouTuber, which is a very powerful technique in order to help provide some context for ChatGPT to provide me with the best results possible. And let's see, you'll get some inspiration from this, but we are going to save the actual practicality to once we cover the key core elements in the current course. But if you're able to connect the dots, now this is great. You'll be able to apply this quite easily as we transition through the course when we learn about the essentials of a YouTube thumbnail, graphic design elements, the graphic design tactics and techniques, and the tools that we need to use before we actually utilize the power of ChatGPT to optimize our thumbnail. Now let's take a look at the result. So the title, The Ultimate Pizza Perfection, Mouthwatering Homemade Recipe. This acts by itself as a good title to a video, but like I mentioned, we're focusing on the thumbnails. Now let's take a look at this thumbnail design. Here we go. Eye-catching pizza shot. The focal point of the thumbnail will be a close-up shot of freshly baked cheesy pizza with tantalizing toppings. So it's giving me some guidance. What do I need? An eye-catching pizza shot, chef's hand. Alongside the pizza, incorporate an image of a chef's hand, perhaps stretching or garnishing the dough. So it gives you some imagination. It gives you some context. It gives you some visualization for you to be able to draw some inspiration from. But this is not the limited application. Actually, we can utilize it even better. Vibrate background. Use a background that contrasts well with the pizza, perhaps a kitchen, setting a rustic wooden table. The background should complement the colors of the pizza and help it pop. Text overlay. Overlay bold, attention-grabbing text on the thumbnail. Include the title of the video. So if you are someone who is actually starting with YouTube and you have no idea how to create a YouTube thumbnail, Now you do have an idea how you could utilize ChatGPT to provide you with some inspiration or guidance. Now take a look at this, icons and emojis. Even though I don't recommend using icons and emojis on a thumbnail, but it depends on the channel that you have at hand. Call to action, for example, watch now, learn the recipe, subscribe, whatever it is. But we have to be careful. We do not want to make our thumbnail congested, as we're going to be learning in the upcoming lectures. Incorporate branding, and it gives you a recommendation. By combining these elements, the thumbnail will effectively capture viewers' attention and entice them to click on the video to discover. Focus on the word entice them. Here we go. Attention and entice. It's acting as if it's a professional YouTuber, right? So you understand now that we could utilize ChatGPT in a way which facilitates the process of creating a YouTube thumbnail. So we had an idea, a walkthrough, a very brief introduction on Canva, and how are we going to be using it to start building our YouTube thumbnail. Then we're having a bit of a walkthrough on ChatGPT and how could we use artificial intelligence to aid and guide the design process. So these are the two main tools that we're going to be using to help us craft catchy, powerful YouTube thumbnails. Now, at this current stage, we are ready to dive into the technical aspects of creating a powerful YouTube thumbnail. Welcome to the following lecture, in which we are going to understand why YouTube thumbnails are very important, especially when it comes to marketing. YouTube is a very powerful marketing tool when you know how to use it. Thumbnails, first of all, they are designed to grab attention. When you are utilizing marketing tactics, thumbnails should be designed to grab attention in order to make sure you're applying marketing strategies properly. They should convey your brand image. When you are designing a YouTube thumbnail, it should grab attention. It should possess, to a certain point, a brand identity, whether the color, whether the logo, whether the persona or the character. All of these are considered to be important elements within the marketing practice. They should help you get impressions. And once we say what do you mean by impressions? Think about the word impression in English language. When you leave an impression, when you are remembered for something. So once you have a YouTube thumbnail which pops, hence you're going to be leaving an impression, this will help you promote your content. The whole purpose of creating a YouTube thumbnail in the first place is, first of all, to get some attention, convey your brand image, get some impressions in which you are getting what we call as eyeballs. People are noticing your video, then they will click on your video to promote your content. Now, this is a thumbnail, for example, and this is another thumbnail. Both of these thumbnails are very powerful. First of all, they look sleek, clean, and crisp. They are attention grabbing. This is one. They convey a certain brand image. They leave an impression, and they promote content. Now let's examine them together. At this current stage, you're understanding or viewing thumbnails from a different perspective. It's not just simply an image that you stick on your video and that's it, and let's hope things work out. Unfortunately, I made that mistake at the beginning of my channel, but over time you tend to realize it's a very, very powerful packaging mechanism that you need to learn and master in order to ensure your success on the platform. If I take a look at this current thumbnail, you notice over here I have a clear impression. Global business expansion, taking your business beyond borders, right? It's attention grabbing. It has bold text. It has a character being present. It includes branding. It promotes a call to action, right? And this will help me get a click. Now, this is a bit congested. This is the maximum we should go in terms of providing all of these elements. Now take a look at a more simpler thumbnail. For example, this is attention grabbing. You do have a character. You do have bold words with some font colors, profitable trading strategy. So it grabs the attention. It does not provide any brand logo or company name, but the color scheme could itself be a part of the brand imaging. It gets some impressions. You'll notice this once it pops on the screen. Hence, once you click on it, you'll be able to view the video, which is under that thumbnail, let's say. So a thumbnail is like the icing on top of the cake. It's the cover, it's the wrapping, which wraps your video content, and it's the first thing that's displayed on YouTube. It's not your complete video. You could have the perfect content, the greatest content, very well made, very well edited video, but if it does not grab the attention of the viewer, it does not include some sort of brand identity, like it's a solid thumbnail, it does not get any impressions. And what we mean by impressions, it's not displayed to people. People are not noticing it. Then your content will not be promoted. And once you're able to nail all of these, the attention, brand image, and the impressions, your content will start to surface even more and more, as we are going to see in this current course, as you optimize the click-through rate of your YouTube thumbnail. So this lecture is there to help you understand that thumbnails are more than just a random image. It's a marketing mechanism. It's a marketing tool which acts as the wrapper on top of your video. And underneath that wrapper, you do have your video. If your video is very powerful and great, but you do have a poor wrapper, no one is going to be actually tempted to watch it, to take a look at what's inside that package. You get the idea. So hopefully at this current stage, you have developed the awareness to understand the importance of thumbnails and why we should be taking them quite seriously. Welcome back. So we've understood the importance of a thumbnail as part of our marketing efforts to market our video. But how is this reflected on the platform, on YouTube itself? This is where we have a term which is called the click-through rate, or often you see it as the CTR. When I take you at the back end of my channel, you will see how does it look like and how it affects the growth of the channel. So make sure that you're watching every single lecture, you're learning every single bit of this current course, as towards the end of the course, we are going to the back end of my channel where we are going to see behind the scenes what is happening in the channel, what makes one video successful and what makes a video a failure. Both of these videos are going to be as part of my channel. So stay tuned to that. So first of all, a CTR is a metric that measures the percentage of viewers who clicked on a video after seeing its thumbnail or link. Concentrate on the word thumbnail or link. So once you display the video link or the video thumbnail and someone sees it and they click on it, that's considered as part of the click-through rate. And how is that calculated? It's calculated by dividing the number of clicks by the number of impressions. What does the word impressions mean? It means the times the thumbnail was displayed. So if you have 1,000 people watching your video, or 1,000 people have noticed your video, or your video has been displayed 1,000 times, this will count as 1,000 impressions. And then when I have a certain number click on it, I will take the number of clicks divided by 1,000 and multiply it by 100 to get a percentage. So it's quite straightforward. Not everyone is going to be clicking on your video. Some people will see it, some people will ignore it. Let's say out of 1,000 people, if you manage to get 100 to click on it, that's perfectly powerful, as we are going to see what is the optimal range to aim for. A higher click-through rate indicates that a higher percentage of people who see the thumbnail or link are interested enough to click on it, which generally suggests that the thumbnail and title are effective in attracting viewers. And this is where the magic starts to happen. Like I've mentioned, I'm going to walk you through at the back end of my own channel, where you are going to see that even though two videos, they have great content, one of them failed miserably, while the other one is a huge success, simply due to this fact. When you have a higher click-through rate, It means people are choosing to watch that video. And once they choose to watch that video, it means it sends a signal to the YouTube algorithm that this is a video which is getting attention. And what does the algorithm do in this current case? It starts to promote it to even more people, and more people start to see it, and more people start to click on it. And it's a very, very powerful growth cycle. So what do you aim for? First of all, it depends on the industry. Educational channels, gaming channels, cooking channels, all of them, they have different click-through rates. But in order to have a successful YouTube thumbnail, this is what I would like to call as the golden range. I've noticed that videos on my channel, if they are between 5 to 15% click-through rate, they will grow tremendously. If you are on the top end, you got a video with a 15% click-through rate, mark my words, that video will grow, and you could thank me later by noticing that the things I've been going to teach you in this current course will surely help you get towards the upper end. If not, at least you'll be more than 5%, because there have been many mistakes that I've done over the years, and I'm going to help you skip those mistakes. So make sure that you watch the course all the way till the end, till we transition to behind the scenes to see what's happening behind a successful YouTube channel. Now, in order to make sure that we're creating successful YouTube thumbnails, we need to understand some technicalities. First of all, we need to learn about the dimensions. The recommended size for a YouTube thumbnail is 1280 multiplied by 720 pixels. This should be the maximum dimensions in which you have clear, crispy looking YouTube thumbnails. Take a look at the image over here. These are the actual sizes: 1280 pixels length multiplied by 720 pixels width. Now, if you notice, we do have over here the minimum end. This is minimum 360, and here you got a minimum of 640. Why is there a minimum? Simply because of the mobile applications or the mobile phones. So in order to make sure that your YouTube thumbnail looks perfect in every single device, to have sharp and clear images on every single device, we need to make sure that the maximum is 1280 by 720, and the minimum is 640 by 360. So when you are creating a YouTube thumbnail, go for 1280 by 720. And that makes sure that it looks good on desktop and it looks great on mobile phone applications. But if you go for the minimum ends, it means you're covering the mobile device users, and it will not look that great on a desktop. So we need to get the dimensions right. This will be automatically done. You could do it manually once you transition to Canva, but this could be automatically done once we select a template for YouTube. But it's important that you know this, because if you're using a different device, using a different tool, different software, you need to keep the technical elements into consideration. The second important element that we need to keep in mind is the aspect ratio. The ideal aspect ratio is 16:9. What does the word aspect ratio mean? Simply put, we said that the longest length is 1280 pixels, right? And the width should be 720 pixels for a YouTube thumbnail. The aspect ratio is the division of the longest side divided by the shortest side. So 1280 divided by 720. Oh, here we go over here. 1280 divided by 720. If you crunch these numbers on the calculator, you get a ratio of, it means it's a comparison, 16:9. Because once we divide 1280 by 720 and we simplify it, it means we have 16 divided by 9. So this is what we mean by the word aspect ratio. Why is this important? Because YouTube video players, they are designed with this ratio into consideration. That way, when you are creating a YouTube thumbnail, you make sure that it fits the video player properly. There are no glitches, there are no issues, there are no compatibility problems. Now let's take a look at the acceptable file formats. This is very, very important, because often we do have individuals who design a perfect YouTube thumbnail, but it's in the wrong file format. That way you're not able to upload it on YouTube, you're not able to use it. It's a complete waste of time. So the acceptable file formats for YouTube thumbnails, they are JPEG, PNG, GIF or GIF, or BMP files. Now, as we go about Canva, you'll notice that we are going to be selecting either one of them, and it depends on the quality that we have, whether we go for JPEG or PNG. But when it comes to the compatibility, you can include GIFs and BMP as well. These are compatible with YouTube players, keeping in mind that the file size should not be more than 2 MB, either for JPEG, PNG, BMP, or GIF. The YouTube thumbnail size, once you upload it, including all the graphics and the design elements, should always fall less than 2 MBs. Welcome to one of the most important lectures that you need to learn about when it comes to graphic design, especially for YouTube thumbnails. And it's often overlooked, or you barely hear anyone talk about it. When you are creating a YouTube thumbnail, it's not just simply a matter of guesswork. Let's see how things look together and publish it, and that's it. On the back end, there is a technical approach, something scientific, which relates to human psychology and the way we relate to visuals. This is what we call as the rule of thirds. Let's walk through this description together. It involves dividing an image into 3 by 3 grid, resulting in 9 equal parts. So here, let's say I do have an image. Consider this to be a YouTube thumbnail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split my image into rectangles where I have a vertical line. Here we go, equally spaced, right? And I'm going to do the same thing for the horizontal lines. Here we go. Such that I end up having 9 rectangles or squares, depending on the size. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So simply put, you have a grid, 1, 2, 3, just simply 3. You split your vertical side into 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, by having 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the same thing for the horizontal direction, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You split them into equal squares. That way you end up having 9 squares. Now you might be wondering, what's the purpose of this? Let's take a look at the description. The key elements for focal points of the composition are then placed along these lines or at their intersections rather than in the center. This technique guides the viewer's eye and creates a more dynamic and engaging visual experience. See these figures over here, 41%, 20%, 14%, and 25%. What are those? When we are presenting an image, a random image, and someone is taking a look at it, if we do have something placed, this is what we call as a hotspot, the one in red. If something is placed over here, 41% of the users or viewers will focus on this one first. Whatever it is, this will be the first thing to grab their attention. Then we have 25% of the users are going to spot this item first. Then we have the other 20% are going to spot this item first, and 14% are going to spot this item first. So how does this help us? It means when we are creating any visual, a YouTube thumbnail in this current case, and we slice it using the rule of thirds, as I'm going to show you how you could actually apply this when we're dealing with Canva, the intersections of the vertical lines on the horizontal lines, they give us what we call as the hotspots, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got 4 of them. Any item placed at this hotspot has 41% chance of being viewed first. Over here, 25%. Over here, 20%. Over here, 14%. It doesn't mean you have to put everything into a single hotspot. On the contrary, the whole purpose of this is to guide you where to place the elements that you would like to focus some attention on. Either you could just simply place an item here, another one here, here, and here. And as you go along the vertical line, you are still within the area of attention along the vertical line. So the closer you are to these spots on an image, the closer you get to them, the higher the chance of whatever item that you place over there to grab attention. So you notice how powerful this is, because instead of placing items randomly on a thumbnail or an image, we are approaching it with strategy. We are being strategic. We are selecting spots which we know, based on scientific evidence, would get impressions. Now let's take a look. How does this actually look like in reality? Now we're going to have a practical example to understand the rule of thirds. In front of us, we do have an actual YouTube thumbnail. Now, from a first glance, this looks like a typical YouTube thumbnail. But since we have learned the rule of thirds, now we are equipped with powerful graphic design methodology to help us figure out why this is considered to be a powerful YouTube thumbnail. So if you noticed, I've split the thumbnail into equal rectangles by having 1, 2 vertical lines and 1, 2 horizontal lines, such that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 perfect rectangles. Now I'm going to label the hotspots 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now everything makes sense, right? What's the first thing that got your attention? Most probably the character over here, because it's quite close to the first hotspot, correct? What's next? What got your attention? Most probably it's the laptop over here, because it's close to the second hotspot. What's the third thing that got your attention? It could be either the text over here or the text over here. Now, why this one could come first? Because of the font and the background, which might affect the impression. So these elements have been carefully placed around the hotspots to draw the attention. Keeping in mind, you do not have to place it exactly on the hotspot. Like we have mentioned, the closer you are to it, the more attention or impression you will leave on the viewer. So it's about trial and error and experimenting with the best optimized version of a thumbnail that will draw attention in the best way possible. Now let's take a look at another example to help you get things better. Here we go. Take a look at this thumbnail. Now pause for a second, observe. What's the first thing that got your attention? Now let's mark the hotspots. Here we go. We got one over here. This is the second one, third, and fourth. Now, most probably the first thing that got your attention is the text over here, because it's literally placed as close as possible to the hotspot. The second thing could be not this part, but this part. Why? Because if you notice, the character has covered 2 hotspots, the top and the bottom. This is a smart usage of the rule of third, in which you actually have an object cover 2 hotspots. That way it's getting, let's consider it to be double the attention. If I take this character and put it over here, it will cover this part and this part. And this is the same approach which has been done over here. The text literally passes through the first hotspot, and it's as close as possible to the second hotspot, leaving the watch now icon close to this corner over here to get some partial attention. But keeping in mind, this is a pro tip. When you are placing the elements, it's not about placing the elements exactly on the hotspot. You need to be as close as possible, right? As close as possible. And one way to be as close as possible is literally by aligning the important elements on the vertical line. The same way over here. By aligning them on the vertical line, you are getting as much exposure to those elements as possible. Either you place them on the left side or the right side. You need to experiment with that. But based on the rule of thirds, we noticed that 41% top left, then we got about 25% bottom left, then less and less at the right side. So if I were to redesign this again, I would take this character, put it on the left side, put the text on the right side, and see how things would work out. So now you're equipped with one powerful tool, which is the rule of thirds. Now, if we recap the rule of thirds, we split any image or thumbnail into equal 9 rectangles by having vertical lines, horizontal lines, and the areas of intersections for these lines are considered to be the hotspots. These are the areas which get the most attention based on the breakdown that we have seen. 41% of users focus here first, 25% here, 20%, then 14%. And most probably now you're surprised because you've never heard about this, right? Often when you're watching a video about creating a YouTube thumbnail, just simply you got general guidelines, guesswork mainly, but this is quite technical. This is based on the human back end of visualization. How do we see things? What draws our attention? And you could test yourself. If you take any image, just be mindful of what has gotten your attention first from that image or a post or a YouTube thumbnail. And you'll notice that actually this applies. It works great. Now, this is one tool that you could use, a graphic design tool that you could use to help you design and craft powerful YouTube thumbnails. But there's one more rule that we could add to our tools kit. Welcome back. And here's another powerful graphic design tool that you could use to help you properly craft YouTube thumbnails. This is what we call as the center placement. Take a look at the image over here. What's the first thing that gets your attention? Most probably the centerpiece, the ornament, hence the naming center placement. Center placement is a compositional technique in graphic design and visual arts where the main subject or focal point is positioned in the exact center of the frame or canvas, in our case, our YouTube thumbnail. This approach creates a sense of symmetry and balance, often leading to strong, stable, and straightforward visual impact. It's true. Whenever you have an image with an object placed exactly in the center, it's the first thing that gets your attention. Now, we place the element in the center. Why? To just simply convey simplicity. Nothing complicated. Formality and emphasis on this center element, drawing immediate attention to the center placement and making it the dominant feature of the design. This is very powerful if you would like to keep things simple. You're drawing attention to a certain character, product, object, whatever it is. You keep it exactly placed at the center, and then you have elements on the left side and the right side to balance it out. What do I mean by balancing it out? You need to make sure that the elements on the left side, here and here, they are not quite different. Why? Because think about it this way. If all of these three elements are different, what will get your attention first? No idea, right? But if this one and this one, they are similar to each other, by default, our brain is automatically drawn to the center element. Why? Because subconsciously you are filtering the visuals. Since things look similar, there's less cognitive load on your brain. Hence, you're going to get distracted from it and you're going to focus on the odd one out, which is the centerpiece. Let's take a look at another example. Here we go. Take a look at this. Now, this is an example from a gaming channel. This is a YouTube thumbnail. We've split the thumbnail in half. Here we go. Here and here, such that this is the focal point, the center. This is a smart placement. Like we have mentioned, the objects which are aligned on the vertical line get as much attention as possible. So we have the character positioned exactly on the center of the thumbnail. At the back of the character, we have bold graphics with glow effects. And then at the bottom, we have another graphic fonts with a glow effects. That way, we are getting as much attention as possible to everything. The character, the fonts, and the event which is live streaming. But it could be a bit congested. So you have to be careful when you are going through this. Take a look at this example, which is from a vlog YouTube thumbnail, a YouTube channel. This is a thumbnail. Like we have mentioned, when we are placing the elements in the middle, we are drawing attention to those elements. So what's the first thing that gets your attention is the text. daily vlog. Why? Because it's following a center placement mechanism where we're actually placing the text exactly at the center. And as we go through the vertical line, this is what gets our attention as well. A day in my life. So basically, the closer we are to the center along the vertical line, the more attention it gets. Now, you need to examine these parts to actually see what's happening, right? Nothing clicks from the first go. You need to take a look at this. You got some slippers here, you got some vases, you got some flowers, but what got your attention at the beginning? Simply the text, not the image. Why? Because of the placement. It's not always the image what gets the attention. This is a big misconception. Sometimes the text, if placed properly, draws attention way more compared to an image. But the smart approach over here was the even distribution. We placed it symmetrically, the same size from here and here. That way, our brains assumes that nothing important here, nothing important here. This is what matters. You get the idea. So this is the power of center placement. Now, guess what? You are equipped with scientific, technical, graphic design mechanisms which allow you to craft and design visual representations to captivate and draw attention. And how is this useful? Because we're going to apply it to crafting powerful YouTube thumbnails. Let's see how. Welcome back. So we've learned about the rule of thirds and the center placement. So how does this work in terms of mapping it when it comes to designing a YouTube thumbnail? Now we've transitioned to Canva. Let's say you go to Canva and you type in the search bar thumbnails, and you do have such a display. I'm going to pick whatever it is, whatever thumbnail, just simply for the sake of demonstration purposes. So I'm going to go for, let's say, the following thumbnail about traveling. Let's click on this, customize the thumbnail. Now, this is where we need to pay extra attention. Now, when it comes to designing a YouTube thumbnail, like I've mentioned, Canva has very powerful thumbnails you can use as a reference. But when it comes to personalizing it, making it your own in terms of your channel branding, adding your own visuals, you being present as the main channel author, content creator on the channel itself, you need to tailor it a bit. Let's use another thumbnail, which includes an actual person. Maybe you'll be able to relate to it. Here you go. This is quite helpful. Now, when it comes to designing the YouTube thumbnail, the whole purpose of this lecture is to show you how would I map the law of thirds or the center placement, but using Canva tools to provide me with some guidance. How could I figure out what are the hotspots, what are the zones, what are the areas? Now concentrate. What you are going to do is you will go to the top menu, click on File, which is the one over here. Here we go. Then you will have a drop-down menu. Here you have the dimensions of the YouTube thumbnail, which is 1280 pixels by 720 pixels, right? Keep scrolling down. Eventually, you will find settings, right? Once you spot settings, click on it. Then you will find the following submenu: show rulers and guides, add guides, show margins, show prim bleed, right? What we need for our purpose, we're going to click on add guides. Here we go, click on it. Now, once you click add guides, notice over here I have vertical columns. Now, this is where we get smart. We're going to click 3x3 grid, this one over here, click on it. Then click add guides. Here we go. Now, if you'd notice, click on lock. The guides, they are not perfectly aligned. Yes, I do have a similar representation, which will help get the job done, by the way. Why? Because you're able to see the hotspots, correct? You're able to see the hotspots here, 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 and here. So that way you have clear guidance when you are planning your thumbnail. These are the 4 areas which will get the most attention, right? But let's say I would like it to be pinpoint specific. So what I'm going to do is I'll go back to File, Settings. Now, Add Guides. I'm going to click Custom now. Then I'm going to change it from 6 to 3 columns. Here we go. And 3 rows. And no gaps, just zeros. 0, 0, and 0. Click Add Guides. Here we go. Look what happens now. Now we have a perfect layout for our rule of thirds, where we have the hotspots over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? Excellent. So now hopefully you're linking things in your mind. Like I mentioned, my courses are crafted based on educational strategies, best teaching methodologies. You're not just simply watching lectures, you're actually learning as you're watching them. So at this current stage, we've learned about the rule of thirds, the center placement. We transition to Canva, where we have a sample thumbnail. Now we're mapping the grid on Canva to apply the concept of the law of thirds or rule of thirds and the center placement. So by simply going to this option over here, File, you click on it, Settings, Add Guides, either 3x3 or custom, it's up to you, whatever you prefer, you'll be able to get this, right? Now let's say I would like to have the center placement. I'll go to Custom again. I'm going to have 1 column, 1 row, Add Guide. Okay, so I think I removed it. Let's go again. Here we go. Settings, Add Guides, 1 column, 1 row, but it vanished. Why? Because I have 0 gap and 0 margin. So what I'm going to do is, let me try to add 2 columns. Here we go. Yes, we got a column over here. And I'm going to add 2 rows. Why did I add 2? Because simply I removed the gap between them. If I keep them as 1, they are going to be overlapping on top of each other and they're going to vanish. Here we go. Now this way, I have my center placement. This is the area of focus. So now when you are approaching the design of YouTube thumbnail on Canva, you are being strategic. We're not just simply picking random elements, picking random things on the screen and moving them here and there. No, we just simply pick any template. We go to File, go to the grid, set the grid based on our own preference. Are we going for the rule of thirds or the center placement, right? Then we start to tinker with it. Now at this current lecture, I wanted to just simply highlight how we transition from the rule of thirds to Canva, and how could we actually apply the grids that we are going to be utilizing to build our YouTube thumbnail. In the upcoming lectures, I'm going to walk you through some important elements, Canva tools that you need to have in order to help you take your design practice to a different level. Welcome back. Now, when you're uploading YouTube thumbnails and you're designing YouTube thumbnails, often you need to place your own image as the character on that thumbnail, right? Whether it's a visual, whether you are present on that thumbnail, but often the background needs to be removed in order to actually have you be present on that thumbnail and to tinker with the background effects, the visuals, the elements, the colors as you please, as we are going to be applying this once we transition to Canva. So this current lesson is a very helpful tip. I wish I was informed about a long time ago, because it took me a lot of effort, a lot of programs and softwares to actually just simply remove the background and have my image ready to be placed on the thumbnail with ease. On Canva Pro, you could upload the image as is and click on remove background, and it will do the job for you. But if you are using one of the Apple products or MacBook, I do have a quick, easy tool that you can use. Let's say you open the image right now, and then once you go to the display menu, click on Tools. And then once the Tools drop-down menu is displayed, scroll all the way down to the feature which says Remove Background. Now, take a look what's happening over here, right? Notice it's highlighting the elements which will be removed. It's actually tracing the presence of a character, and it will eliminate the back end or the background. Here we go. Click on it, convert, and here we go. Now you do have the actual image to be used on top of the thumbnails that you would like to design. The same case applies to various characters, various features. If you would like to remove a certain element, you can just simply use this powerful hack. And now you're ready to just simply save the image, and we'll upload it to Canva to use it as part of the design process. And I truly hope that you find this hack or tip very helpful, the same way it helped me save a lot of time. Now, in this current lecture, I'm going to dedicate some attention to important, useful elements that you could use within your design approach. You could incorporate them within your thumbnail designs. Think about them as resources, as helpful options to help you think outside the box and get some inspiration. Now, first of all, I'm going to start off with an element that I would like to call frames. So how does that look like? First of all, we go to elements over here, then type the word frames. Now, from the word, the way it implies, it's an actual frame. Click see all. Now, this is basically a frame where you get to place an image inside of it. Let's say, for example, I'm going to use this frame. I'm going to drag it and drop it over here. Now, you might be wondering, what is the purpose of such a frame? Now, the options are quite endless. Now, if I would like to add something inside of this frame, let's say I would go to either uploads in case you've uploaded your own images or your own elements, or I can just simply go to Canva and browse some of the photos. How about, let's say, since this thumbnail is road to business, how about dollar? How about a dollar sign? Here we go. Now I'm going to drag this and place it over here. Here we go. Look at this. Now I could place the element over here, for example, get some attention to it, or I could delete the subscribe, keeping in mind that this is considered to be a focal point, and I'm going to place it over here. Here we go. See what's happening over here. So simply by adding a frame, I'm able to actually take any image and place it into this frame. Let's try something else for you to see the options that you have for the various frames. I'm going to change the frame. I'm going to go to elements again. Here we go. Frames. Now this is in the photo. I'm going to go to all, then see all. Here we go. Now let's pick the following mobile phone frame. Here we go. Here we go. And I'm going to remove the character from over here. Following the rule of thirds, these are considered to be hotspots. So I'm going to increase the size over here and place the phone over here. And then I'm going to go to photos. And then let's pick something which is related to business. How about success, for example? Let's add it over here. And then I can move the image. Here we go. You increase the size. And you can drag the image. See what happened over here? So by adding frames, you are able to actually get your creativity the way you would like it to. Like you have endless options, endless possibilities, where you can just simply add any frame that you would like and place any image in it. Let me give you some another source of inspiration. How about graph? Here we go. Now for a graph, here we go. We have an endless list of options. If I take this and place it over here and then drag this backwards, look how catchy it looks, right? Look how catchy it looks. I'm going to place it at the middle over here. Lovely. Now, if I change the color of the text, it will automatically recommend the colors which are present inside the photo. This is a very powerful tool in Canva. Take a look at the photo colors, and you can just simply select them. Now we have completely changed the vibe of this. Here we go. So I'm going to click at this artwork and then pick a color from the photo. And here we go. Removing the branding, removing the branding, removing the branding. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to draw this to the focal point and place this at the other focal point and increase the size. So we were able to shift a complete thumbnail from one thing to another by adding frames. We place an image, then we map the colors from the image to other elements, and here we go. Sky is the limit. So in this current lecture, we have learned about the element of frames and how we could use it. Just simply go to Elements, type the word frames, and pick whatever frame meets your requirement, and then you could either upload your own images or utilize the photos present on Canva and add them to your frames. Now we are ready to transition to the second key important tool. Now, in order to add some life to an image, for example, we need to have reality effects such as shadows. So I'm going to build on wherever we have left off from the previous lecture. Let's say I'm going to click on the following image over here. Here we go. Now, when I'm dealing with various elements, let me revert this back to its initial state. That way we are dealing with the same template for the sake of simplicity. So if I'm going to click on the following image, this is a character, right? So I'm going to shrink it down a bit for you to see the effect. Go to top left corner over here. We have what we call as edit image. Click on it. Now, once you click on the edit image tab, you do have a list of possible effects. Magic Studio, some of them they are for the pro version. Filters, where you can just simply change the color scheme of the image. Some effects, including blurring certain elements. Now we're going to focus on the shadows. You click on the shadows. Here we go. So once you click on the shadows, you do have different options to impose a certain shadow. Take a look at this. I'm going to click drop. Look what happens over here. You have the shadow element at the back end. Let's reverse this. It's gone. Here we go. Nothing. But add drop. Now it looks like as if the character is actually in 3D to a certain point. It's actually popping from the screen. So this is a very powerful adjustment that you could add to your images to give them that real kind of effect. Now, this is not just it, right? One approach is by adding shadows. Let's take it one level further. Welcome back. So we've seen how we could incorporate some shadows into our images. What if we could do something a bit more? Here we go. Click on shadows again. Now we're going to learn about the outline. If I click on this, notice what happened over here. The image has a certain outline. If I scroll down, I could increase or decrease the size of the outline. This is as big as it gets. Now, if we minimize it, it adds some pleasant effect. Then I could change the color. How about we go for white color over here? And then the intensity is basically how transparent it is. It's up to you to get creative and tinker with it. Let's go for the maximum intensity. Look how lovely it is right now, right? So we completely altered the nature of the image by adding glow outline elements. Do you think are we done? Of course not. We got one more trick up in our sleeve, which will help you add to your tools box of various tips and tricks to alter your design, your graphic design elements when crafting YouTube thumbnails. Welcome back. So we've learned how to create shadows, how to add frames, how to add some outlines. Is there something else that we could tinker with to create powerful YouTube thumbnails? Of course, we could either add angles in which you tilt the shadow of the object. Here we go. Or page lift, where you go above the shadow. Or you curve it. We could curve the shadow. And this is one of my favorite, which is the glow. Here you go. This is the glow effect. Now, notice the halo around the character. I could increase the size or decrease the size. Now, this looks quite professional. How about the blur amount? How blurry it is. Here we go. This seems quite nice. Now I'm going to expand it a bit, keeping in mind my rule of thirds to get some attention, not overcrowding it. Now I'm showing you how I would go about the process. That way you are actually learning the tips and tools and tricks. At the same time, you see how I would go about the process to draw some inspiration from. Now, these minor adjustments literally altered the entire thumbnail. It looks way better now, right? Now, we're not done with the approach to shadows. Let's take a look at the color of the shadow. What if I would like to have different colors? Here you go. It's not just simply having a white shadow. You can go green to match the template that you have. Now take a look at this. Now this could be you. You could just simply swap this with your own image and apply the same effects. Keeping in mind, I'm going to walk you through a practical example where I'm going to design my own thumbnail for my own channel. And I'm going to walk you through the steps rather than just simply using a standardized template. But like I've mentioned, this is for you to draw some inspiration from, to get the idea about what are the tools that I'm going to be using, the tools I'm using, and this in combination with graphical design tactics and strategies such as the rule of thirds and center placement. Now, let's say I would like to apply center placement over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the character to the actual center. Here we go. How about I'm going to put the text over here. Let's remove this. Keeping in mind the rule of center placement emphasizes keeping things simple, right? We need to keep things quite simple. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to decrease the text size. Here we go. Swapping it a bit. Decrease the text size. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the effects. Then I'm going to curve the text. And then I'm going to go for the placements. Here we go. Position. Now I get to arrange the order. Do I want the text first or the character first? I'm going to say push it backwards. Here we go. Right? So the text went all the way to the back of the image. You can see it at the back, but it's not satisfactory. I'm going to push the image at the back. Here we go. Look at this now. Right? It looks way different. Now I'm going to change the position slightly a bit. Take the text to the top. See the difference? With a couple of clicks, we have shifted from one approach to a completely different approach. Now let me show you how I could tinker with the text again. Click on effects. You can just simply none, background, and you could add some background to the text if you prefer. Now sky is the limit. So when it comes to that, you are able to actually tinker with the text, tinker with the images to meet your own design requirements. So at this current stage, the purpose of this lecture was to show you the glow effect, where you go to the image, click on shadow, click on glow, and you're able to increase and decrease the size of the background glow to map your requirements. So if you learned about frames, shadows, glow, adding some angled outlines, all of these things are very, very powerful to help you draw some inspiration and get creative. But are we done? Of course not. We got more things in our tools box that will surely help you elevate your design skills when it comes to creating powerful YouTube thumbnails. Let's go next. Welcome back. Now in this current lesson, I'm going to show you a very rare and powerful tool that not many professionals know about, which will combine the power of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, through Canva to actually transform an image. How? Let's take a look at this. So I've eliminated everything from this current template, leaving the character in place. And I'm going to show you how I could alter an image through Canva using the power of artificial intelligence. So I'm going to double click on the image. It says edit image. Here we go. I'm going to click edit image. Then I'm going to look for this, which is magic edit. Here we go. So once you spot it, here is magic edit. Click on it. Now, what's happening over here, I have a prompt window where I'm going to add some text, and this text will be translated to effects on an image. How? Let's take a look at the display bar to understand how it works. Select area to edit. Either I click on it or with a brush I highlight it. So I'm going to go for click because I have a single object, which is a character. I'm going to click on this. This is what I would like to highlight or edit. Now, what do I like to change? Here we go. This is where you get creative. I'm going to say, change the suit color to, let's say, bright red, and add sunglasses, which are unique and catchy, including a stylish hat. Okay, as random as that sounds, let's see. Here we go. Now, you might be surprised, does this actually exist? Well, it does. And like I've mentioned, I'm teaching you practical stuff that you could use that you will not find elsewhere. These things are not just simply randomly provided. These are actual practical insights that you could apply to your own craft. Now, if you notice over here, it did not apply it the same way I liked it. So what I'm going to do, here we go. It gives you options, by the way, but it doesn't match my requirements. Let's say if I click on this, see what happened. It shifted the suit color, but it did not add the hat, it did not add the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the suit color to bright red and leave it as is and generate again. Here we go. Obviously, this requires back and forth trial and error, the same way you're crafting a prompt. That way till you get the result that you want. Here you go. Way better, right? Now this one got a white shirt. This one got a red shirt. Here we go. Let's go for this color. Seems quite original. Done. And here we go. See what happened over here? So that way, now you're able to actually take a ready-made template from Canva and fine-tune it and tweak it to map your own requirement. Not just that, you're able to take your own image and then you click on edit image, you go for the magic edit, and you could just simply add whatever stuff you would like to add. How about, let's say, add sunglasses. Here we go. No. Add sunglasses. Please select the area. I need to select an area. Here we go. Click. Yes. Add sunglasses. Here we go. And generate. Now we're waiting for the sunglasses to pop. Well, it seems that for this prompt, it's not able to get those sunglasses, right? Maybe the image is not tailor-made to adopt these things. Now, what if I just simply try something else? How about add a tie, a blue tie? Okay, let's edit this again. Click on edit image, magic edit, click. So we're going to select the character again and add a blue tie. There we go. Generate. Now I'm walking you the steps of back and forth communication with artificial intelligence to get the results that you want. You could get this from the first time, depending on the image, by the way. If it's something which could change, which could be changed easily, then it will give you a better results. Now notice over here, it added a blue tie, but it altered the quality of the image, so it doesn't get the requirements that I was looking for that specific prompt. But This varies from case to case, from example to example, but now you're able to see how powerful it is to utilize artificial intelligence within Canva to alter the image, which is considered to be the magic edit tool. Welcome to the following lecture, in which we are going to have a practical example where we are going to utilize the tools that I've taught you so far in terms of Canva, and how are we going to have a practical thumbnail design where I'm going to walk you through the steps in terms of how would I go about the process of crafting a thumbnail, implementing some of the tactics in terms of graphic design, the rule of thirds, center placement, some of the Canva tools such as frames, shadows, and glow, keeping in mind you're free to experiment with all of the elements that you have learned in this current course. So in front of us, I'm going to pick a random template, and we're going to kickstart the process from the beginning. Let's say I select the following template over here. Here we go. Okay, then I'm going to go to uploads. I have uploaded the photo after removing the background. Feel free to revert to that lecture where you learn how to remove the background from a photo. So I'm going to delete the current visual element, including the shadow as well. And I'm going to add the photo. Let's see, how does that look like? Here we go. Okay, I'm going to increase the size. Now, as you have noticed, if you are following just simply guesswork, you're going to be allocating things that based on how you think they look best, right? But we've learned a strategy. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Settings, Add Guides, 3 by 3. No, Customize, here we go. 0 and 0 for the gaps, and Add Guides, here we go. Unlock. Okay, all guides are locked, so I'm going to go through this again. There we go. Add guides. Then we're going for custom. Then number of rows and columns. We need 3 and 3. Here we go. Now for the gaps, keep it as 0. Add guides. Here we go. Excellent. So now we do have the law of thirds or rule of thirds. Feel free to utilize the center placement as well. It's up to you. But for the sake of convenience, we need to make sure that everything is quite aligned. So over here, we do have the first attention hotspot or impression hotspot. This is the second impression hotspot. This is the third, and this is the fourth. So if you notice now, we're approaching things with a technical approach, not just simply guessing things. So if I would like to place the current visual elements, let's say I'm going to create this thumbnail to my channel, my other channel, which will be mainly focusing on fat loss, for example. Okay, so if I'm going to craft such a thumbnail, and the process for this for the thumbnail creation would be as follows. So I'm going to focus on these two attention hotspots over here. And as you can see, by default, I have placed the image on top of them. Now I could go for these hotspots. However, keeping in mind, since the image is pointing in a certain direction, then in this current case, I have to allocate the image in this location. Keeping in mind, like we have mentioned, if you place the image along the vertical line, this is basically where you have the highest possibility for attention or impressions. Similarly from this side as well. Now, I'm going to go about this following two approaches. Let's take a look at this. So I'm going to increase the size. Here we go. I'm going to delete all of these elements. I'm not going to have it quite congested. So I'm going to place it exactly as is, keeping in mind any features that you place on the cross marks are going to be as close as possible to the attention grabbing hotspots, this, and this. The closer you are to them, the more emphasis is going to be on them. So let's place it over here. Here we go. Okay. Now, let's play with the text a bit. So I'm going to move the text. I'm going to position this at the back. Okay. Now let me move the text a bit. I'm going to leave this X mark to the side. I'm going to move the text up along the vertical line, the label over here. Here we go. And over here, 5 pounds per month, for example. Here we go. So based on the current placement, if I place this over here and per month, I'm going to move this a bit to the bottom. Per month, here we go. Now increase the size of this a bit. Notice now, all of a sudden, it grabs attention. What do you notice? What's the first thing that pops in front of you? Is this. As weird as that is, this part, the circle with PER, per, this is where you get the attention. Keeping in mind, like we have mentioned, about 41% of viewers viewed this for the first time. And most probably, as you are taking a look at the screen right now, this is what got your attention, correct? So see how powerful this is? Rather than just simply approaching things with guesswork. So let's say I need to add some visuals to captivate the attention. I'm going to put this over here. Let me decrease the size a bit. Here we go. And let me duplicate this and see how does that look like. Here we go. Now it's getting more attention, right? Let's tinker with the image a bit. I'm going to edit image and I'm going to apply a bit of shadows. Here we go. Let's have some outline. Now this is the bigger size. This is the average size. Let's go for something which might fit with the scheme. How about red? Okay. Here we go. Seems quite okay, right? Now let's increase the size a bit. Okay. How about we experiment with glow effects to get some practice? I think the glow effect works better. Let's increase the size of the image. Okay. And let's remove these extra labels. Now, I think the best option would be in this current case would be actually to go for the outline. It looks more professional. So I'm going to leave this part over here and this part over here. Now, this will do. This will get the job done for using this approach for the following thumbnail. I could reduce the size a bit and place it over here and increase the size of 5 pounds. Here we go. And get it closer to the attention hotspot. That way, I'm able to draw some attention to it. Keeping in mind, these small tweaks, they make a lot of difference. Look at this now. 5 pounds per month, having a basic outline, a basic background. Simply by placing the elements correctly, I was able to actually create a captivating YouTube thumbnail. Let's edit the image. How about we add some shadows? How about this? Let's take a look at this. Now I'm going to add drop shadow. Here we go. You can see the effect over here. And I'm going to increase or decrease the blur amount. How about we keep it this way? Here we go to add some effect. Let's take a look at the angle. How about over here? This looks good. Distance can go as far. Keep it as close. Now the intensity, this is quite intense in that sense. Here we go. Now these are different variations, obviously, you could experiment with when it comes to crafting a powerful YouTube thumbnail. Now I'm going to take it one level further, okay? So we are able to see that by simply placing elements properly using the law of thirds or rule of thirds, I'm able to get some attention. I'm able to tinker with some elements such as placing the characters, placing the words, the fonts in proper locations, which get attention here, here, and placing the visuals along the vertical lines to direct the attention. These things work best. Let's go for an additional approach where I'm going to utilize the magic tool, keeping in mind that this is simply for demonstration purposes. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to use the magic tool to help me make sure that all the visuals are quite aligned. How about if I go for this, to edit image, magic edit? I taught you how to do it, right? So we're going to go for click. And I'm going to just simply mark the suit over here, the image, and change the jacket color to dark red. Let's see how does that work. Now we need to edit this. Here we go, and generate. So now I'm incorporating artificial intelligence through Canva in order to edit the visuals. Let's see how does that work. Now it did not take into account the part of the jacket. It just simply tried to impose some elements to it, but it did not work. Let's try to revert this. Here you go. I'm going to highlight this now a different way. Let's go to cancel, and I'm going to go for the brush option. You have to tinker with this. Now with the brush option, I'm not going to select the entire image. I'm going to simply select certain key elements. I'm going to clear this, go for the brush to just simply pick the elements that I would like to alter. Keeping in mind, I'm walking you through the steps literally live. The same errors that I might be getting, that you might experience, the same approach that I'm following, that you should be following as well, to help you get the same results as transparently as possible. So by selecting these areas, the areas over here, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to change the jacket color to red. Here you go. Let's remove the word dark red in case it got confused. I'm going to go for generate. And let's see how does that work. So either you select the entire image or you can go for the brush option to select key areas, and it should work. Here we go. Yes. Now, because I've selected the brush option, I was able to get different layouts. This is dark red. This is bright red. It even altered the cut of the blazer. How about this? Here we go. Done. Take a look at this. Right? Impressive. Now I was able to actually alter the jacket to match the fonts, keeping in mind that we need to have a consistent branding, consistent images, which align with our brand. That way, at this current stage, you have a clear idea how I could incorporate various elements to help levitate the quality of my YouTube thumbnails. And I'm going to take it one level further. I'm going to add frames. Here we go. To show you how I could go about this. And I'm going to add the frame somewhere. If you put it over here, you're not going to get some attention, right? So I'm going to alter the thumbnail to include some of these elements, right? So I'm going to get it as close as possible to the hotspots. So this area seems quite okay, right? So let's go for an image that I could use to place within the frame. Let's go for a guarantee. Here we go. Let's take a look at this. Okay, which one would fit my requirement? How about we need to have a guarantee that we could use, which would make it pop or stand out. I can just simply throw it into that frame. How about we go for this one? Here we go. Take a look at this, right? So I was able to add a guarantee, keeping in mind this is a pro version image. In case you could just simply experiment with any image, but simply for the sake of demonstration, this is a pro image. We need to upgrade to get it. So I could place this within a frame over here, for example, or at the bottom. It will not be possible to place it over here. It's useless. So I'm going to keep it as close as possible over here. Now I'm going to take it one level further. I'm going to push it backwards. Here we go. To make sure it doesn't obscure the visuals. Here we go. So when I'm taking a look at this, now it might be a bit congested, but keeping in mind, this is simply for demonstration purposes. What gets your attention first? Obviously the text, this part gets your attention as soon as you look at the image, this whole area, right? This is what we're trying to achieve. Then this part over here gets your attention next, or it could be the other way around. Simply by following the rule of thirds, I was able to create a very powerful YouTube thumbnail with fraction of a time, making sure that it actually gets impressions and it's quite appealing, such that you will be able to draw the attention of your audience. Now, this is quite a very straightforward example for the application. Keeping in mind, I'm going to walk you through at the back end of my YouTube channel, where we get to see the effect of powerful thumbnails in terms of channel growth. Now, before we get to the actual back end of the channel, where we get to see the impact of YouTube thumbnails on channel growth, I'm going to walk you through how could you utilize ChatGPT to actually assess and draw some guidance when it comes to implementing your YouTube thumbnail. Keeping in mind the previous example, we have seen or went through together through various steps, implementing the rule of thirds, various visuals, graphic design, and modifying the image with artificial intelligence. Now I'm going to add some guidance from artificial intelligence to make sure actually I managed to hit a home run with these placements. So I'm going to go for the following prompt. Act as if you are a professional YouTuber and your channel, and the channel, let's say, the channel is about fitness and fat loss, where the thumbnail includes an image of the main presenter and some texts, where the video is about losing body fat per month, body fat pounds per month. Suggest ways to create a catchy YouTube thumbnail that gets a high click-through rate and estimate the CTR. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just simply priming ChatGPT to act as if it's a professional YouTuber, which is like me in this current case. So I'm going to direct it to a fitness channel, fitness and fat loss. Here we go. I need to fix this error. Fat loss. Here we go. Fat loss, where the thumbnail includes an image of the main presenter, which is me, and some texts where the video is about losing body fat or body pounds per month. Body fat pounds per month. Suggest ways to create a catchy YouTube thumbnail and that gets a high click-through rate and estimate the click-through rate percentage. See how compact this prompt is. Let's see. Okay, here's the suggestion for a catchy YouTube thumbnail for a fitness and fat loss channel focused on losing body fat pounds per month. Bright and eye-catching colors. We've actually done this with the red colors over here. Use vibrant color like bright blue, green, or red to grab viewers' attention as they scroll through YouTube. Check. Clear and bold text. Include large, easy-to-read text that highlights the main benefit or promise of the video. Lose body fat pounds per month or transform your body fast. Okay, so we've added this through 5 pounds per month guarantee. Okay, check. Before and after images. Show a compelling before and after image of someone who has successfully lost body fat and make sure that the difference is noticeable and inspiring. This is very powerful. We could just simply go for the center placement, where I'm going to have, let's say, me over here, 5 pounds heavier than me over here, 5 pounds lighter, properly placed at both ends of the thumbnail, to the left and to the right. Just simply to have some balance and keep the text in the middle for center placement to draw some attention to it. That's possible as well. But for the rule of thirds in this current case, I'm not going to go for this. Main presenter's image. Feature an image of the main presenter in the thumbnail to add a personal touch and establish a connection with the viewers. Here we go. Present. Icons or symbols. Incorporate icons or symbols related to fitness and fat loss, such as a scale, measuring tape, or healthy food items to visually communicate the topic of the video. This is a good idea. So instead of going for the word guaranteed, for example, I'm going to add, let's say, an image for a scale. Let's see this. Okay, so I'm going to position this to the top. Actually, instead of tinkering with this, I'm going to delete this. Then I'm going to go for elements. How about we go for scale, photos, and here we go. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to add the image temporarily, just simply to fit it inside the frame. Here we go. Now, sometimes, since the placement could vary, I need to push this backwards just to make sure this is the first thing that I get. Here we go. Look at this. Well, it's a good recommendation, quite catchy, requires a bit of adjustment, but gets the job done. Okay, it's quite good, not bad. Then a call to action. Include subtle call to action such as watch now or join the fat loss challenge to encourage viewers to click. Engaging facial expression. Use an image of the main presenter with a confident and engaging facial expression to evoke curiosity and interest. Done. Now I'm going to add the CTA. Click to action, just simply to have the viewers click on a thumbnail, but sometimes it's not necessary to do so. You can just simply add £5 per month, and you can just simply add watch now or watch now. But due to the size of the current fonts, you need to have a professional guess. We're not going to go for the watch now label. We can just simply leave it for the title, right? They should work hand in hand. Now, by combining these elements into a visually appealing thumbnail, you can expect to achieve a high click-through rate of around 5 to 10%. Good, which is a good range. Like I've mentioned, 5 to 15% is a powerful range. However, the actual click-through rate could vary depending on factors such as your audience demographics, video title, and competition in the fitness niche. Regularly testing and refining your thumbnails based on viewers' engagement can help optimize your click-through rate over time. That is very true, because sometimes you could upload a very wicked YouTube thumbnail, yet due to large competition, you will not get the attention that you need on that video, or based on the video title, it should complement the YouTube thumbnail. This is subject for a different course, where they should work hand in hand in order to complement each other. You could have a great, powerful YouTube thumbnail, but the title is not that good. The video will not perform well overall. So this is how we could use ChatGPT with Canva in order to increase the chances of having a successful YouTube thumbnail design. Now, welcome to this lecture in which I'm going to walk you through the back end of my YouTube channel. Literally, you get to see how a good thumbnail tends to impact the growth of the channel. Now, this is one of many high-performing videos on my channel. I'm going to walk you through the impact of a thumbnail in terms of the channel growth. If you take a look over here, this is the actual thumbnail. This is related to interview practice, ready for your interview. Take a look at the placements. We got me over here. If you split the thumbnail based on the rule of thirds, we got 1, you got 2, you got 3, and you got 4. Roughly, you notice in this current thumbnail, I managed to occupy all of the HUD zones with visual elements without making it too complicated or too crowded, where I have been placing the image over here to cover the first 2 hotspots, then text at the top, and you do have the $sign at the bottom, close enough to the lower left corner. That way, I'm able to get attention within the YouTube thumbnail based on actual practical graphic design approach, not just simply guesswork, right? So how does this affect the channel? First of all, this is where you have what we call as the impressions, which is how many times this video has been shown. As we can see, it's 85.7 K. It means 85.7 multiplied by 1,000, right? Yes, it's 85.7 K. So you need to add a couple zeros. So if I'm going to actually get quite technical with this, so 1, 2, it means we have 85,700 impressions just simply from this video alone. It has a click-through rate of 10.6%, which is on the upper end. Like I've mentioned, aim to have a click-through rate between 5 to 15%. 10% is very powerful. Take a look at this, how it affects the views. Now we have impressions, 85,700 impressions, which were translated to about 11,100 views. Now this is about 5,800 views more than usual. As you can see, the growth pattern for this video, it's growing exponentially over time. Like I mentioned, the things I'm teaching you, they work, they're practical. As always, the way I approach teaching and passing on information is as transparent as possible. Okay, so you are going to see the exponential growth as a result of this video being displayed over and over again with high click-through rates. Let's see how does this translate. Click over here. Notice at the beginning of the life cycle of the video, just simply bouncing back and forth until the YouTube algorithm kept on passing it to people that actually clicked on it. And you notice the click-through rate started to stabilize, goes up and down, up and down, up and down, between upper ranges of 12%, then goes back to 9%. This is the average, by the way. So we're maintaining this consistent line over time, which reflects a solid click-through rate once it's passed on to people. And this is what you need to achieve. Once you're able to achieve this pattern, you will get such growth. Simply put, when people spot your video, click on your video, watch your video, this means that we are able to make sure that the video is growing. And this is a very successful video on my channel. I'm going to show you the other extreme end, which is, again, a video on my channel. I don't like to showcase or reflect other people's work and comment on it. I always highlight the positives which I had and the negatives which I had, since at the end of the day, it's my work, it's my journey, and you get to see both ends, what worked and what did not work. So we've seen what works based on the rules and tactics that I've taught you in this current course. Now let's take a look at what doesn't work. Even though the video I'm going to be showing you right now includes a lot of important information, but because I failed miserably on the thumbnail end, I didn't manage to get the results from that specific video. So let's see how does that look like. Welcome back. Here's another video which includes a lot of important information, yet it did not perform as close to that previous video. Why? You're able to spot this by yourself. If I take a look at the impressions from the lifetime of this video, this over 744 days, it's a couple years old, it was presented 12,000 times. That's it. Notice the difference, like 12,000 times compared to the previous video, which is about 80,000 plus, right? Even though that one is quite younger than this video. Take a look at the impression click-through rate. It's 1.2%. That was 10%. The views plummeting, 1,200 views, 1.2K. Take a look at the effect. 12,000 impressions, almost 1.2% who clicked on this video. This is the amount of views that we're getting. Now take a look at the trajectory of the video over time. If you notice, it's witnessing very slow growth and stagnating. It's not able to lift off with that exponential, lovely curve that you need to see once your video is actually successful. Let's zoom in at the impressions click-through rate. Notice the pattern. Literally, people are skipping this video. Some of them are watching, some of them are skipping. So there's no consistency. There's no pattern in terms of views. It's not happening. It's either view or no view. And this does not work in terms of lifting your video up. So if you take a look at the thumbnail over here, after getting quite professional at this, it's no surprise why it didn't work. Take a look at this. First of all, if I apply the law of thirds, here you go. One line, 2 lines and 3 lines. There you go. 1, 2. Roughly speaking, could be somewhere over here. If you do notice, first of all, the character over here is looking to the left. There's no engagement, very small in size. It's not even close enough to the actual hotspots, which are literally over here. The text is completely shifted towards the left side, avoiding these hotspots. So the areas where I could use to draw attention are completely left blank. Right? So the hotspots are not addressed properly. That's why when people look at this, nothing is quite appealing to watch further, even though it involves a lot of important information. So I truly hope that you're able to see the extreme ends, what makes a very successful video grow on YouTube, and what makes even a good video in terms of content fail on YouTube simply by thumbnail elements only. So if you have the packaging, like we have mentioned, in place, you're able to actually wrap up the video with solid packaging, even though some videos, they do not have important information, but the way the thumbnails are presented are quite catchy, they would still get those impressions and those views. And I truly hope you're able to see for yourself that what I'm teaching you right now actually works. It's coming from experience, it's coming from practical knowledge, nothing theoretical where it hasn't been implemented myself. And I truly hope what I'm teaching you right now is saving you a lot of time, a lot of effort, trying to implement things from scratch. Simply apply what I'm teaching you, and hopefully you get the results that you're looking for. Thank you for making it this far, and I truly hope, literally, I truly hope that you found some benefit in this current course, at least 1%. If you're able to learn something which is equivalent to 1%, it means we have done a great work. Hopefully the course has helped you understand that there are some certain approaches that you need to follow in order to increase the chances of having a successful YouTube channel. Keeping in mind that the best practices shared with you are based on my own experience as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. I'm just simply passing them on to you, saving you time, saving you effort, which cost me a lot of years, a lot of time, a lot of hassle, a lot of struggles in order to overcome them. And I'm helping you cross that bridge easily, saving you the whole hassle. So make sure that you follow the profile for the latest releases, which will help you leverage your game, whether you're a content creator or a business owner. Till then.